Why in the world do we have to take off our shoes?
Well, it wasn't always that way. It was bad because we had an incident where a guy tried to blow up his shoes
Oh.
on the plane. He tried to light his shoes. He had explosives in the shoes, so that started the shoe thing. In the beginning, you didn't have to take off your shoes, but when they had the shoe bomber, we would call him, we had to take off. He had to take off the shoes.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today, and I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk to a retired TSA officer. Do you even know what TSA is? Well, I mean, I think I've flown on a flight or two, but you know what? Let's just talk to this guy and find out. Let me introduce our next guest, the one, the only, the amazing Don Thomas.
Yay! Hey, thanks, Tiberius, for that big introduction. I like it.
Well, thank you for being on the show. Okay, so you're a retired TSA officers. So for listeners that aren't listening, what exactly is the TSA?
Well, the TSA is actually a seven trifold of different places inside the travel agencies. We travel, we take care of planes. We also take care of stuff off the ground. We also help out with events. We also help out with the Border Patrol sometimes like this. So TSA is not just for planes. It's actually anything that has to do with transportation. TSA may be a part of it.
So you are the guys that make us wait in line to scan all of our stuff?
Yes, that's part of the TSA. That's one of our aspects. That's one of our biggest ones to make sure the planes are safe.
Okay. So what got you interested in working in this field? Did you always want to work for the government?
Nope. I didn't want to work for the government. My original background was as a baker by trade. I had my own bakery business, and I moved to Florida with my wife because she wanted to move here to Florida. So I got into TSA after 9/11. When 9/11 happened, I decided it was my American duty to join the force. That's what happened.
Well, Don, you gotta tell me, why in the world do we have to take off our shoes?
Well, it wasn't always that way. It was bad because we had an incident where a guy tried to blow up his shoes on the plane. He tried to light his shoes. He had explosives in the shoes. So that started the shoe thing. In the beginning, you didn't have to take off your shoes, but when they had the shoe bomber, we would call him, he had to take off the shoes. So that's what happened. The guy tried to blow his shoes up with some explosive inside
Why
the
didn't
shoe.
that get caught by the metal detector?
Well, because it was by the day we didn't have all the equipment that we have today, so we have different equipment now you can protect anything.
So we don't have to wear our...
No, you have to wear your shoes. Right now, some parts can take off shoes. We have dogs and canines to smell bombs and stuff now.
Yeah.
So
So what does a typical day of work look like? Kind of run me through it.
yeah, well, a typical day of work, we check in. We have like a crew. I use MCOs as the example because MCO is one of the biggest airports. We have a crew of people that come in the morning. Some people work overnight. We come in. We have our debriefings. We go over what's going to happen. Then we get into our stations. Everybody has a station to get to. Everybody's trained in X-ray, pat downs, and so when you come when the airport opens, we're ready to go.
Okay, so what is something about being a TSA officer that most people would not expect?
Well, a lot of people don't realize the TSA is very important, and to the officers, we're the only agency that's actually looking for stuff that can kill us or kill you. So that's our job, to look for explosive. We are exactly a zipper pull, bag check, pat down check for something blowing up or something happening. So TSA agents are already at risk every day. People don't know that.
Oh, wow. So do TSA officers carry a gun?
Some TSA officers carry a gun. That's the air marshals. The ones on the floor are not allowed to carry guns. We're not allowed to arrest people. We can detain people, but we're not allowed to arrest anybody.
Well, what type of skills should a kid work on if they wanted to work for the TSA?
One thing about being alert, focus on when it's time to focus on things. be able to focus on a task that you have to take care of. Also being aware that you are doing a dangerous job, and can you handle it, and can you be ready to have that mental part of that. This could be your last day.
Yeah. So what's the coolest part about being a TSA officer?
I think for me, I kind of loved being a TSA officer when I was being a TSA officer, but I was also the union president for like 9 of those years. So I had a double duty. But my favorite part is actually knowing that you are making a difference by making sure those planes are safe. Seeing people that you're responsible for making the plane safe as much as possible. So, and then being out in front of the crowd and talking. I used to play with the crowd. I used to play with the people in the audience, playing with the little kids, or playing with the keeping parents at ease. Or sometimes you become a counselor when the wife and the husband is arguing. You step in and you tell the wife what he didn't do. He didn't help you pack or anything. Shame on you, man. Or and she's always packing. So things like that, just to put people at ease. That was my job, and I love that part.
All right, so do you get free airplane tickets?
No, we cannot. No, that's a big no. TSA is only allowed to get $25 maximum as a gift. We can't get buddy passes. We can't get discounts at the food courts, and it has to be done by everybody. Has to get the same amount of discounts. One of the things in the misconception about security that we're not allowed to take a certain kind of money. If we do, we can get fired. We're not allowed to certain things. We're not allowed to have. Even weapons or anything like that. So we're very restricted to have any kind of monetary value money that's given to us.
That doesn't sound like freedom.
No, it's not really freedom, but it's
not supposed to USA.
Yeah, well, the part of it is you're not even allowed to have, like, if you have a bank account, credit scores, or if you have a problem about if you owe money or you have repossessions, anything like that, you must report it. Sometimes they take you off the floor, because they don't want you to be a threat to anybody. So if somebody found out some information about you that you owe a lot of money or you behind in your payments, they can come to you and say, hey, look, I need to get this through. I need to get some drugs through. Can you help me out? We know that you need money, so let me flash this money in front of you. So they're very strict about that.
Ooh. What do you think kids should know about working as a TSA officer?
Well, working at TSA is almost like being a police officer. If you want to be a police officer, make a difference in the world, and you want to have that prestige without a gun, because you're actually doing the same stuff to the community. You're protecting the community. You're protecting the people of the world, and have that kind of satisfaction. Interacting with people. So it's pretty cool.
So here seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
So you want to make an ad for your company, right?
Yeah, Tiberius, you want to help me?
Okay, so what's the name of the company?
PPWND.
PP what?
Professional Pressure Washing and Detailing.
So you like clean driveways?
Yeah, like that. We pressure wash commercial buildings and semi-truck and trailers.
So how would someone get a hold of you?
They can visit my site at ppwnd.com or call me at 407-900-7793.
So I just tell them to call you at 407-900-7793 or visit ppwnd.com?
Yeah, Tiberius, you got it.
Cut, that's a wrap. Just use that.
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
And we're back here talking with Don Thomas. Don is a retired TSA officer. So, Don, what is the hardest part about working for the TSA?
Oh, that's a great question. One of the hardest parts is actually to stay focused all day. Dealing with passengers, having those skills and trying to keep them safe at the same time, and being suspicious of them at the same time. So it's kind of hard to keep all that in balance when you're at TSA. So your focus, dealing with the passengers, and dealing with whatever items that may be in there. So something may be dangerous, and you have to remain calm or something like not to alert anybody until it's time for that alert to happen. So that's one of the hardest parts about the TSA. And it's a little physical if you work in the baggage area. But those three is to stay focused, dealing with the public, and dealing with the issue that is at hand. Those are the three hardest ones, I think, by being a TSA agent.
So how do you handle like high pressure situations? Like I assume it's harder during like the holidays and so forth.
Yeah, that's when it gets a little busier. Gets a lot of busier. You got a lot of you get frustrated. You're a human being. You're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna get tired because you're dealing with a lot of people coming in. One thing you have to keep. The one thing I said about being focused, because that's when it's the most dangerous, because a lot of people, as TSA agents, we get a little complacent. So it's kind of hard. So.
Now, if you can make a part of your job easier, what would you change?
A couple things. I would change one of the things is the pay and the recognition of the job of people being paid what they're worth, because that goes a long way of staying focused on the job. Because if you're not being paid and you got bills to pay, you can concentrate on not how much money you have. So, and now it takes away from the job. So I would change the pay and the benefits a little bit better for regular agents, because we're one of the lowest paid agencies in the government. Also, I would change the way that management looks at the agents. The agents are key, because we have to stay focused, because we can lose focus, and that's the end. One plane can come down because I lost my focus on a bag and it got through. So I would change management being more for the employees. That would be a big one.
Alright, so what are some of the greatest challenges that you've had to overcome while working as a TSA officer?
Some of the greatest challenges was one of the things we're actually trying to get a union in TSA was one of the biggest challenges, to get people to relax on the job and stay stable, keeping people from not quitting, because the more people quit, the more people we got to hire. Working with the employees, some employees, I mean, every employee has a knucklehead someplace in the world like that, is to eliminate some of those people, but you can't really just fire people. You have to have a reason to fire them. So one of those aspects was one of the hardest part too. So
So what's the craziest thing someone tried to bring through security?
oh my goodness. Well, we have everything from I don't know if I could say this, sex toys, to one guy tried to bring a kitchen sink full of moonshine in a bag, and he was always, and I caught him, and he told me that he's been doing this for years. But that's one thing about TSA coming in now. We're checking stuff that was getting on the plane before. So we couldn't get things you couldn't see, or that wasn't checked before. Now it's being checked. Guy had a moonshine. I seen some people with spears try to come through, guns come through. One of the biggest items, I'm gonna show you, one of the biggest items that we take away from TSA is like this part here is this is the number one. The number one item is like a Letterman. But a Letterman is more than a weapon, because people get mad because it can be turned into a weapon. If you take the knife out and make it longer, it turns into a weapon. So people paid a lot of money for the Letterman. They get mad about these things. So this is one item that gets taken away a lot. So that's one item. So there's some crazy items, down from people bringing rubber people, dummies, all kind of stuff that comes through that we have to check.
Wow. So, can you list one misconception about TSA officers that you can clear up?
One that TSA is not important that's one thing, that TSA is not that important, which is a complete fabrication. Mm-hmm. We are important. So, because like I said, all it takes is one thing to get through, and that's the end. We're not perfect, but TSA does have like 7 different layers, things that we can check before we get in.
Yeah.
Before things happen, because you can be checked at the checkpoint and then be checked again at the airlines, and people get mad about that. But there's 7 different things that I can't go into, but there's 7 different layers of security that we do to make sure that the flights are safe.
I hear people leave a lot of stuff by accident, like money and food. But what is the most common thing people leave, and what do you do with it?
People leave money. People leave money, like from Britain, they'll leave all the change. Like, people leave money because in Britain, a pound is worth a lot more money than the United States. So they'll leave tons of money. That's one of the biggest one. We have a pot, so we can get up to like $150,000 in one airport that's been left over a year, and we send that back to the Treasury. But I used to get mad about, why don't we get that to the employees and have a party with it? So they were like mad at me about, no, we can't do that. But it goes back to the Treasury. People leave behind items, knives. A lot of that's left behind because they know they can't take them on the plane. So. Those are issues.
So what is the best advice you've ever received, and who gave you that advice?
The best advice I ever gotten is from a guy. I was gonna quit, and cause over a issue, and he says, "Well, why are you here? Why did you sign up in the first place?" And you signed up to protect the people, right, and help people. So and he says that you stay with that focus, and you'll go a long way in the world, and keep that going on.
So what message do you tell children all over the world about being a TSA officer?
I tell a message to the TSA officer: if you're looking at doing something different and you want to hit the elements of being around people, keeping people safe, having elements of being an officer, not necessarily going out and shooting, having a gun and everything, but you still have the same feeling of protecting the world, protecting without the violence, basically.
Well, on that note, let's take a quick break to pay some bills.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And now we're back with Don Thomas, head of the union. Wait, what? Don, what exactly is a union and why do we need them?
Oh, great question, Mr. Tiberius. That's a great question. Well, unions are great for if you got a mass amount of people, like a lot of employees, like thousands of employees. Unions are a necessity because there are people that's going to try to take advantage of the employees, and there's always going to be a problem. So a union comes in and kind of stabilize the workforce a little bit. So, and to give you certain rights to when that time does come, when management or someone accuse you of doing something you didn't do or done wrong, you have somebody to fight for you. Not unions are not there for everybody, but when you have big companies, it's really needed because that's the part where people take advantage. We're human beings, and everybody's human beings. We're going to be a guy that's going to try to take advantage of you as an employee. Unions are there to protect you from that.
So what was something that you did with the union that made a difference in the lives of all the TSA officers?
Well, one of the things that I did for TSA's office, because there was no union, so we had to start it, because TSA had like 60,000 workers across the nation. One of the things to protect some of the workers and actually kind of stabilize the workforce. When you have a union, it kind of stabilizes the work. Some people don't like it. There are problems with the union, just like anybody else. Organizations, we have power-hungry people. Just like in the world, we have to address that. But the main thing, the union is trying to keep the workforce stabilized, and that's the key to TSA, to keep them stabilized, to keep people working, because we want their attention on the job, not just not having things be going wrong.
So Don, what was that one thing that happened in your career that you did not expect?
Oh, one thing that happened in my career I did not expect. I didn't expect to get a lot of backlash trying to put the union together from being here in the southern states, because I'm from the northern states, because northern states is always union friendly, but being here in Florida was a backlash. One of the things that I did not expect when I became the union president, someone actually keyed my car and left a little note on my car. I'm not going to go into specifics, but they left the biggest N word on the car. So that was one of the biggest things I did not expect at all. And it was like
Why?
Yeah, because I don't know. People do that right now to deter you from a job, to make you. They don't want a union here, or they don't want people to be certain things, or they want to bring you down. So that's just like a small fraction of people. Because I believe in people 100%, and people will make a difference. But there's always that 10% that ain't gonna act right.
Mm-hmm. So do you think AI has a positive role in your industry, or are you worried it might take over parts of a job and cost people a living?
No, I don't think it would cost people a living. I'm trying to see the right words to this. I don't think it would cost people a living, but it is a necessary. I call it necessary evil for certain areas for people to have the unions in, because they're gonna help people who can't help themselves, or who can't afford a lawyer, who can't afford to fight certain things when it happens. Like I said, small companies and small people, small businesses, you can kind of work it out. But when you got big organizations, you got to have that protection, and so it's very vital to that.
Well, if you could go back in time and give your 14-year-old self advice, what would it be?
My 14-year self advice would be, I probably wouldn't have did go into government right away. I think my 14-year advice, because I kind of took it, is becoming an apprentice baker or an apprentice anything. Worked my way up. My first job, I was 16 years old. I was a janitor, and I wanted to do that, and I wanted to do some kind of trade, electrician. So I wouldn't change too much in my 14-year-olds, but changing careers is actually a good thing. So being 14, I just say you guys some advice. Just don't stick with one career. Do something for a while, do another one. If you get complacent, go to another career. You can start. Now with the stuff today, with AI and all the stuff right now, you got a big opportunity.
What's the biggest mistake that you've ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
Oh, the biggest mistakes I ever made. Let me see. I don't want to say call them mistakes, because you're going to make miscues in life. And one of the mistakes that I made was actually not listening to everyone when I was doing some of the work, and that takes a part. You got to listen to everyone and everybody's opinion, and then you take it, and then you how would you apply it? You apply it to whatever we're trying to do. So if you're trying to do a project, take everybody's opinion and listen to it, and then and do it that way, because everybody will say, "Hey, you listen to me."
So do you play video games? And if you do, what's your favorite one?
I don't really play video games. I used to play them though, but my favorite video games are old school. I'm an old Donkey Kong, and I'm an old Pac-Man games, and Tetris, and Galaxy. So I like still playing those games.
Do you know if someone finally beat Tetris?
Yes, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that. So man, I tried, for 20 years trying to beat that game.
Well, it's kind of tough, because you have to have the game crash, which is officially the game end, because it doesn't really end.
Oh, that's how he got it. So I don't know how he beat it. I just heard that someone beat it. So
it was really weird.
Wow, because I've been trying to beat that game for almost 40 years now.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I'm 63, so.
Okay, so what is your favorite book to read?
My favorite book to read, I'm reading, I got two other favorite books. My favorite book I read was, matter of fact, it was a horror book called The Gate, and they made a movie on it, and it was about a crack in hell, and it came through the little crack, and they were causing havoc all over the city and stuff. So if you're gonna look at it, it's called The Gate. You ever heard of that movie?
No.
It's a horror movie, so it's a horror movie. So, but it was interesting because
I'm kind of glad I don't know it.
You don't want to know it.
Okay.
You asked my favorite book. That was my favorite book.
Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid show, but that one story, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
That one story. Okay, that I'm not supposed to tell you about. Okay, this was at TSA actually.
Ooh.
I was in a bag. I was checking the bag out, and I was going through the bag. It came through the X-ray, and the lady opened the bag, and it had all kind of handcuffs and all kind of things that you do with nighttime activity or don't. So the lady was looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and she said the words. She says, "You want to try it sometime?" I go, "Oh," kind of freaked me out a little bit. I was done. If I was taking like an hour to recover. So it was kind of, and then she saw me later on. She came back out of the airport like a year later, and she said, "I remember me. I remember you. We want to go out again?" It was kind of embarrassing, but I said, "Yeah, let's do it." So. So it was kind of funny.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you and what you do? Other than that?
What I do now is kind of interesting. I'm going into my third career. I am actually doing stand-up comedy around the cities of Orlando. I do different bars. I play at different venues. I play in Melbourne. So I'm just starting out doing something a little bit different. Like I tell you kids, try something different. Try something scary that may not work for you. But I was kind of pushed into this because I have 8 brothers and I was in the spotlight. So it was kind of easy for me to make the transition into doing comedy. So it's kind of interesting. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I remember that. You suckered my dad into that one.
Yeah.
It's been going. It's been going.
Right. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got your dad into it.
Yeah. Well, do you have a Facebook or website for my listeners who want to follow you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's called Old Man Comic. Oh, it's called Old Man Comic on Instagram. You can check that out. I don't have too many videos on there because I'm just kind of fairly new. But you can check this different stuff out on Old Man Comic Instagram.
Okay, so what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
See, how you forgot how old I was.
Well, how old are you?
Oh, but I think I said it already. But I am actually 63.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going on. I'm having a good time. Comedy makes you younger. I don't know if you guys can see it. No, just kidding a little bit, but it gives you energy. Doing something different gives you energy. Remember, do different things, but not do the old ways. That's the key. Or another way you can say, I live by this one rule: what you get done today is what you get done today.
Well, thank you, Don, for being our special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Yes.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call Your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad. My computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling Your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
And thank you, Don, for helping me with Math Corners this week. We're going to learn multi-step word problems. My dad is always good at finding problems for me to solve. Today, we're going to talk about a TSA worker. Ooh.
Oh. Wow.
I wonder how that happened.
How did that happen?
Well, TSA Officer Taylor is managing a team of officers screening passengers at a busy airport. He needs to screen 120 passengers every hour for 4 hours in the morning, then 150 passengers every hour for 3 hours in the afternoon. How many passengers will be screened in one day? If each passenger takes 2 minutes to screen, how many officers will Officer Taylor have to hire to cover the screening all the passengers? My goodness.
Oh my! I can't. I don't know if I can answer that question.
My goodness. Well,
man, I would be tired.
You know what? I'll answer it for you. Well, first, this is a real-world problem because, it's important to ensure you have enough staff to cover the job and keep everyone safe. So to solve this problem, first is to figure out how many passengers we are talking about. So in the morning, it's about 120 passengers per hour times 4 hours, which is 480. Well, that was pretty easy. I mean, it's 4 times 12. I mean, it's pretty easy. But then now we have in the afternoon 150 hours per hour times 3 hours. So you get about 450 passengers. Now you have to add them together. So 480 plus 450 is 930 passengers per day. So that's the answer to the first part. Now the second part is a bit harder. Now they're screening 480 people and times that by 2 minutes, it's 960 minutes. Divide that by 60 and that's 16 hours. Well, it's only a 4-hour shift, so 16 divided by 4 is 4, so it requires 4 officers to work the morning shift. The big issue is that you have 450 passengers out there, and times 2 minutes is 900 minutes. Divide that by 16, you get 15 hours. So for the 3-hour shift, it's 15 divided by 3 is 5. So we need 5 officers for the afternoon shift to cover everyone. Someone's only going to have to work half a day.
Wow. Well, you want to work for TSA, man? They can use you right away, man. Come on.
Well,
Yeah.
I got better things
We
to
got
do.
analytics. We need you.
I just
That was
do
pretty
math.
good, man.
Man, my ADHD would probably just take me off if you put me in front of the screen. I'm just gonna be watching that like a hawk.
Well, that's the thing. We actually, actually searching people and people coming through is a different number. People actually being searched is always diminished because everybody does an alarm. So that's pretty good math, man. That's pretty good. I'll be tired that day if I was working. Yeah, I would really be tired.
So Don, did you have to plan out the staffing versus the number of passengers when you were screening people?
No, that wasn't my job. I didn't
Okay.
have to do that. No, I didn't have to do that at all. My was get out there and pat people down and make people feel at ease. That was
You
my
were one of the
favorite part.
pat downers? Okay.
I was one of the pat downers. We all get trained in the same stuff. So everybody,
I hope you
Yeah.
wash your hands because there's a lot of
you
germs.
gotta wash your hands. A lot of gloves. A lot of what's it called? A lot of sanitizing gel being used. We probably use more than anybody else agency in the world. But and so that part and touching yourself. You gotta remember, you're right in people's face, and people are telling you stuff, and you're patting them down, and you don't know what they have on them. Because or people sneeze on you, cough on you. So that's why when
that a
COVID was around, a lot of TSA people got sick or died. So
Now, my teacher said that I would use math every day. How do you use math in your work?
oh well, I use it every day. We use it for counting people. We have a randomizer. We have to count how many people went random checks, or how many people were in the checkpoints, or how many people were in the airlines, or how many people sitting over there. So we got to use math all the time.
Now, I know I have to use math, so don't try to get me into it, because I heard from a little birdie, that the pay's not well, so I think I'm good on that one.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of right. It's okay, but it's not great.
Well, thank you so much, Don, for your help with Math Corners.
No problem.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and ability. This week, we're going to talk about integrity. For me, I think integrity is doing what is right, even when no one else is looking. The qualities of integrity is honesty, sincerity, truthfulness, and fairness. Now, this did not happen this week, but I remember it back when I was at the airport going to New York. Someone was going through screening, and they left their keys in the gray bin. And now when we got the bin, I was like, whoa, we gotta give them back. So we spoke to the TSA officer, and they handed it to another person that found the owner of the keys right away. Now, they could have just put it in lost and found and waited for someone to, ask for it, but instead they found the person and ensured that they got their keys before they went on the plane. It was not only doing the right thing, but going above what is asked. So, Don, did you see your integrity at all this week?
I didn't see it at TSA because I'm not there anymore. But I work in bars and stuff, doing comedy and stuff. Somebody left their wallet on the bar. Human beings are going to take care of you. But anything about the integrity at TSA, what you were talking about, we have rules in place. Not even rules, but at TSA we had rules that anybody that left a wallet or anything like that, you handle it right away, or anything that's personal. We have a team to submit, and if someone took it or did something like that, that's an automatic fire. So, so integrity is a cornerstone of TSA. That's one of the biggest cornerstones. I say that's why I love working there. So,
I guess so. Now, of all of the Heart of Lion virtues, which is the one that you see the most? I'll say them again: leadership, integrity, obedience, and ability.
I'm going to have to go with integrity on that one. Integrity is very important because that's what everybody deals with that. For example, what if you're at a Walmart and you forgot to scan something and you realize you didn't pay for it? That you go back and say, hey, I forgot to pay for this. A lot of people just shine it off as an issue, but that's one of your things that you battle with all the time, even that small minute. So integrity is an issue that we all should be dealing with because we come across those little small things that we don't deal with, and those make your life,
Well, we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Yes. Leadership and all the ones you just said is very important. Like I said, integrity is one, the biggest one that I go by, but leadership is also a good one. And then again, you got to remember, all people can't be leaders. You have, and then to be a great leader, you have to be a follower before then, because you have to know what you're leading. Leaders are made; they're not born. So they have to be made.
Mm-hmm. And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Don Thomas for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking to him today. I think we learned a lot about what it's like to be a TSA officer and the work you did to keep everyone safe.
Thank you, sir.
Do you mind giving your social media and website again?
Social media website will be Old Man Comic, because like I said, I'm 63 and I'm doing comedy now. So it's on Instagram, Old Man Comic on Instagram. That's where you can find some of my clips and you can find me.
Well, also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show. And I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, KNT98, Soul Radio 24/7, EasyWay TV, and all the other stations that air on my show. And please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Now, Don, please tell me you're subscribed. I've known you for a while.
Yes, I am subscribed to your
Thank
show,
you.
Tiberius Show. I've been a fan for a while.
Oh, and be sure to leave me a comment if you want to work for the TSA. I answer all the comments myself. Also, be sure to listen to us next week on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
Hey.